Hey everybody, back in the shop again today. My name's Luther from Luther's Woodworking. Today we are going to be working on some 3D reindeer, pretty popular around Christmas time. Let me just show you what we're going to be working on here. These little reindeer right here. Very easy to cut out, fun to cut out during the Christmas season. I'm just going to show you how I do it. I got a couple of tips I can probably give you on doing it. I know other woodworkers have done a lot of these little reindeer like this. Now I don't have a pattern for this. I printed out a whole bunch of patterns for myself, but as far as I got this either from a magazine or online someplace. I'm not even sure where I got this pattern from. So if you want to do this, or if you want this pattern, just Google. You can Google 3D reindeer on Pinterest or online, and you should be able to find it. Somebody might have the pattern. Like I said, I really don't even know where I got this pattern from. But I printed a whole bunch of these out for myself, so I want to make a bunch of these reindeer. So what I usually do is, now making these reindeer, most 3D patterns, they have it where you lay the pattern on a block of wood, you fold it over like this here. The side view of it will be on this side, the front view will be on this side, and you fold it over right on the dotted line. I don't do it that way, and one of the reasons is I like to have a little bit of room in between my project and the piece of wood, so my blade stays actually in the piece of wood. And as far as the wood goes, this is what is this? Aspen. I use clear aspen. Right? There's not much grain to it. It works really nice for this kind of stuff because it's really breakable. So that's what I use. I suppose you could use clear pine, would probably work good. You just want to stay away from any knots or grain, really open grain. So what I do is I get my 3D pattern like this here, and we're just going to cut this. I always just cut it out like this. I never fold it over the edge of my block like some people would probably do. Sometimes if you read a book and they tell you how to do it, they tell you just to fold it over the edge of the block. I don't do that, and I'll explain to you why I don't. So we'll just cut this out here. There's the side view of it. And then you got the end view. I'm just cutting here on the dotted line here. So you got the side view right here, and you got the end view that's going to go on here. Now my block of wood is a little wider than this actual 3D animal. And you can see, if I put it on there, you can see it's a little wider. The block of wood's a little wider. So I have room from the edge of my block to the animal itself. My blade, when I come around and cut, my blade's going to stay inside my block when I cut. You don't want your blade to come around and cut outside your block and then come back in, because it's just not going to look right, and it's just hard to get everything back together so when you flip it to do the other side. So that's why I never fold my pieces over, because sometimes when you fold it over, it really doesn't give you much room for that blade to stay in the block. So I'm just going to glue this on here, and all I do is I use this general purpose spray glue here, and I just spray some on here. And this is just a temporary glue, but it sticks pretty good. And another thing too, because you want your reindeer to stand up nice, you want one of your ends of your board nice and smooth, so when you glue it down here so your bottom of your feet is nice and smooth. You know, that way you don't have to sand it after you get it done. Okay, so you can see here I glued the piece on here, and you can see I got enough room on my block here. I can come around with my blade. My blade's not going to come outside this block because you don't want it to come outside the block. That's the little trick I do. And I'll do the same thing with this piece here on the end. Just spray some glue on it. And give me some room for my blade to stay in my block. Because sometimes it can be really close. You just don't want your blade to come outside of your block and it'll be all cut apart then. So there's the side view and there's the end view right there. So the next thing, for years I used to cut this without using any type of holding device, nothing. But Steve's got a good little jig here that you can go to his website and download this pattern for this jig to do these 3D animals. It really helps on holding your 3D animal. And I always cut, when I do 3D animals, I always cut the tall skinny part, the width of your board. I always cut that first. So we're going to mount it in here, and you always want to make sure it's flush on the bottom here. So when it sits on your saw, it's nice and flat. And you can see right here, I have enough room on the end right here to get my blade up in there. Right here to cut. I can get my blade right up inside there to start my cuts right here. Now, we're going to head over to the saw. But what I'm going to do is I'm going to end up cutting in between his legs. I'll take that piece right there and cut that first. And then what I'll do is start on the outside of his leg here, and I'll just go around the whole silhouette of the deer. So let's head over to the Scrollsaw and start cutting on this thing. Okay, at the saw here, now I'm using the number 4 modified geometry reverse tooth blade from Pegasus. I think the 4 is probably the smallest you can go as far as cutting that width of this wood. So we'll just thread this blade through here, get it up in there. Oh, you gotta go down from the feet. Get that there. Now I'm going to do the best I can to have it so you can see exactly what I'm doing, but it's kind of hard because I'm so close. But having this block is really handy to have when doing these projects. Just take your time doing this. It's a lot of wood to be cutting through, so you want that blade just to be doing what it's supposed to do. You don't want to do a lot of pushing. so we got that cut out. We'll move over to the outside here and we'll start cutting around the outside of the deer. I don't know if you can see it, but my blade is well into this wood. I'm not cutting outside of this block of wood, so that's what you want. And every once in a while, I like to give my blade time to catch up. I just kind of slow down or stop. Just kind of give your blade to catch up so you take your turns nice and slow. Like I said, that's a lot of wood to cut through. You're cutting through 1.25 inches of lumber. Sometimes your pattern will come off a little bit, but we'll see. I got to hold this a little bit. There we go. So we got the first cut done. Take this out of here. What I like to do is take some, just some Scotch tape, just to kind of put some Scotch tape over this here to kind of hold things together. And then on the end right here, just to hold that piece in between his legs. And then we're going to take this and open this up a little bit. And we're going to set this block in here. And then tighten it back up. And like I said, you want to make sure that's nice and flat on the bottom there. Okay, so we're all ready to make that cut right there. I'll cut in between the part in between his legs there, and then I'll cut around the whole outside. And hopefully you can see somewhat of what I'm doing here. Now this actual cutting the side view of it, it's a lot easier because you're only cutting 3/4 inch material. So it's pretty much normal cutting on the Scrollsaw. And you can see my piece is starting. Okay, so we have, I'm just going to take a piece of tape, because sometimes your pattern and pieces want to come apart. I'm just going to take a piece of tape in there and tape that piece back down. Okay, so we have that cut. Now we're going to cut the outside. Trying to see what I'm doing. Sometimes things just don't want to stay in a place, but I got it. So we're done with that side view cut. We'll see what we got here. Take that off of there and see what we got. And this is where you might need a tweezers to get a few things out. I think it actually turned out pretty good. Let's see what we got here. So we have one reindeer. Very easy to cut out. I don't even think it took me 5 minutes probably. I probably talked longer than that. But yeah, it turned out pretty nice. So if you liked the video, give me a thumbs up. Hit that subscribe button and ring that bell. I got more videos coming out. But it's a very easy project. Give it a try. Just take your time and go to Steve Good's website. You can download this jig right here for holding 3D items. So we'll see you on the next video.